What's up, ladies and gents? Your boy is back now. I don't normally do too many political videos concerning politics, so just consider this a once in a blue moon type of thing. Now, this time 2 weeks ago, the whole Dylan Roof situation happened, where a 21-year-old white male shot up a church and shot up an all-black church in South Carolina and killed 9 people in the process, and it's caused a whole bunch of racial tension. And shortly after, a week after that, the U.S. government decides to legalize gay marriage. Now, what's the connection what's the connection you ask between that? I'll get to that later on in the video. Now, before I really do dive into this, I do want to say 2 things. One is, when you debate somebody, know your facts, get your facts right, and know your history of these things. Because if you debate somebody who knows what they're talking about and you only get one side of the story, then you're gonna end up looking stupid. You're gonna end up looking like a jackass for not knowing your facts. And 2, it kind of sucks to be like a neutral party, or it kind of sucks to have an impartial opinion on a debate, because you have both sides, people from both sides trying to sway you towards their side, or as to why the other side is wrong and their side is right. Or, like, if you do have a neutral opinion, you could just go to both sides and say, well, this is why I think you're right, and this is why I think you're wrong. Or you could just bow out and just say, well, I think both of y'all are wrong, and then just keep it moving. Or you could just have a neutral opinion and just keep it to yourself and don't say nothing. But anyway, as far as the Dylan Roof shooting goes, now it was in South Carolina, and there's a lot of like I said, a lot of racial tension and still a lot of prejudice in the South, because that's what this is associated with. He was the police took him into custody and had a bulletproof vest on him to protect him. Now, if he is thrown into the general population of prison, may God have mercy on his soul, because Lord knows those inmates won't. Now, and a lot of people are like, well, why are the police protecting him? Like, why do he have a bulletproof vest on him? This is a racially driven attack, and it's true. It was race. He did kill all those. He did. His focus was to kill all those black people. Now, had that been had the perpetrator have been black and he shot up a black church, even an all-white church, there'd be no taking him in. There'd be no handcuffing him, no bulletproof vest on him. There'd be no bail, no bond, none of that shit, because the cop would have shot and killed his ass on sight. I dare somebody in the comments to tell me I'm lying about that. This was a racially driven attack. There's no way around it. And he was found on the internet posting pictures of him burning the American flag, which is a symbol of freedom and justice, and him raising the Confederate flag in pride, and that's a symbol of Southern pride. And the Confederate flag for years has been associated with racism. And like I said, this is a racially driven attack, so you can't really ignore the fact that he meant that to be a symbol of racism. Now, I'm from the South. I'm from the state of Virginia, which is the capital of the Confederacy. And even it's hard to believe. It's not really hard to believe, because I mean, you be blind to see there's not still racial tension in America. There's still racial tension in America, but most predominantly in the South. Now, the Confederate flag as a symbol, because at first, like, we just had like all of it when America was just, when we weren't states yet, when we were just colonies, when America was just 13 colonies, we just had a flag of 13 stars surrounded by each other, and then just red and blue stripes. And we had nothing really separate us from America yet. And then the Civil War happened. When the South, the Confederacy, was fighting against the North, the Union. And the Union ended up winning. But and since then, it's kind of still been a little bit of racial tension in the South, and it has been for the past 350 to 400 years. And people associate the Confederate flag with racism. And like, some people will say, well, there's been blacks who fought in the war for freedom. They fought in the Civil War. Well, the reason why they fought is because they didn't really have that much of a choice. I mean, they were still slaves working on plantations, so they didn't really have a choice but to fight. And like, if you were a black slave back then, this is the option you had. Okay, you either die trying to defend our country, or you do nothing and get your ass shot and killed anyway. And if not by the slave owners, then by the people of the Union who's trying to take over the South. But yeah, that's just pretty much how it was back then. And even, like I said, it even carries over today, because there's predominantly, because all the slave states, there's still racial tension towards them. Pretty much anything south of the Mason-Dixon line, pretty much from the middle of West Virginia all the way down to Texas, there is still prejudice. Now, let me talk about the Confederate flag itself. The Confederate flag itself was never really supposed to be a symbol of racism. It was supposed to be a symbol to separate the South from the North, and also to represent pride from being from the South. Now, it wasn't associated with racism until the dumbass Ku Klux Klan ended up using that as a banner and a symbol of their pride, of their white pride. Now, what is racism? Racism is when you think that your race is better than every other race on the planet. That's the definition of what racism really is. Now, do I think anybody's better than me because of the color of their skin? No. Do I think I'm better than anybody because of the color of my skin? No. I believe that as a black man who lives in America, that I have the same rights and privileges as everybody else. Now, and a lot of people and people who are white and people who are not of color, they don't understand why when a topic like this gets brought up, they don't understand why blacks are so sensitive towards it. They don't understand why blacks are so easy upset about it. And that's the thing, you'll never get it. You'll never understand how it feels. You'll never understand what it's like to be demonized. You'll never understand what it's like to be to have prejudice against you. You don't know what it's like to have to be a suspect before you're even convicted of anything. You don't know what it's like to be followed around a store, with all the employees looking at you like you're going to steal something. You don't know what it's like to have cops pull you over and then question you like you're a suspect and then illegally search you. Yeah, this happened before. To have the cops illegally search you and then search your car like you're hiding something. You don't know what that's like. Y'all never know what it's like. You'll never understand. But anyway, going on to the next topic. Now, like I said, a week after this whole Dylan Roof situation happened, gay marriage was legalized. And that is a step towards, that's a step towards more equality in America. Which I don't understand why it was called gay marriage anyway. Like, why not just marriage? And here's the thing, all these religious folks. Now, if you are as religious, I'm not really a hardcore Christian, but I do follow the Christian faith, and I am a believer in God. But here's the thing, the principle of any religion is love one another. Love your brother, love your sister, show love everywhere. Now, if you really are as Christian as you say you are, then why does homosexual marriage bother you? And that's the thing. Why does gay marriage even bother you? Why does it bother you that two people of the same gender are getting married? And gays, they have the same rights as anybody else. And that also goes back to what I was saying about equality. I guess because I'm not gay, the thing is and people who are not gay will never understand how gays feel to be demonized just because they like people of the same sex. We'll never understand that. But anyway, this is not really, I don't really have an issue with gay marriage as a whole. Like I said, that's a good thing, because if the U.S. government legalized gay marriage, then imagine what else they could legalize later on down the road if America's supposed to be all about equality. Here's the thing, gay marriage being legalized is a good thing. But what kind of doesn't sit right with me about this was the time they legalized gay marriage in. With all this racial tension going on, this whole thing about the Confederate flag being a racist thing going on, why legalize gay marriage now? The U.S. government could have legalized gay marriage anytime they wanted. Why now? And I believe it was just to divert people's attention away from all the racial tension that's going on. The U.S. government or the people at the White House probably sitting there going there's a lot of racial tension going on in America nowadays. What can we do to divert people's attention away from it? Oh, I know. Let's legalize gay marriage. Gay marriage, they've been fighting for equal rights for the longest time too. So why not just sweep the racial tension under the rug and then just bring up the gay marriage tension, or not the gay marriage tension, but just bring up the gay rights. And like I said, why is it called gay rights? Why not just rights? Why is it called gay marriage? And why not just marriage? But people are gonna say people are gonna probably be looking at me like I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist when I say this. But I don't know. Maybe this whole Confederate flag thing and this whole racial tension thing, and even legalizing gay marriage at the right time, I don't know. Maybe it's just to distract us from something else. Maybe there's something else going on with the government that they're just not telling us, that we have no idea about. But I don't know. I'm just spitballing here now. But anyway, tell me what you guys think about this. What do you guys think? Do you think the Confederate flag is a symbol of racism? Do you think that Dylan Roof deserves whatever punishment he gets? And even I even have a couple of gay subscribers, or one of them is bisexual. But there's people who what do you think about gay marriage? I mean, do you think it's about time that happened, or do you think that the time it happened, or the time that gay marriage was legalized, was a little bit too convenient? But anyway, I'm out, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.